Network 3000 presents.
Today, we are sponsored by the Airway Kingdom Network. Feel free to check out the following content: What's Up Bro, Three Amigos, and J&J Productions. Feel free to check out those great content today. Hello everyone, I'm Demi here, and welcome to the next edition of the 3000 Hangouts here for tonight on the 25th of February 2026. And on this episode, we have two great interviews. One with my friends Justin and which of course he is the owner of the network, the Airway Kingdom Network for Justin. And our next one is Jim Carney, who is one of the co-hosts of Sports Talk with Dad. So that is our second interview with Tim. And that is Tim with the T, not Jim. And also we have the Deal or No Deal jackpot games in between. And I also wanted to say that I am very thankful for being part of the network now, as we are part of their schedule. So I am looking forward to working with my friend Chester for hopefully many years to come. And also, I want to congratulate the USA men's and women's hockey team for winning the gold medal. That's right. They won the gold medal this past Sunday night, and I was so happy to see both of them win here on the 2026 Winter Olympics. And I am so thrilled. So thrilled. So, very exciting stuff indeed. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into the interviews. All right, everyone. I am here with our guest here for this next interview on the 3000 Hangouts. Please welcome Tristan. How are you doing?
Yeah, how are you?
I am doing good here on this afternoon here as we're recording this for this episode of the 3000 Hangouts. And we'll be asking you some good questions here, getting to know you here on the YouTube page because for those who don't know who Justin is, he is a podcaster and the owner of the Airway Kingdom Network that he has created himself. And we are now officially partnered with that network, so thank you for that once again.
Sure.
And without further ado, I'll ask you this first question.
Mhm.
Tell us about yourself and what do you do for a living currently?
So I don't want to say exactly how old, getting too old. I currently work a couple of pretty stable jobs. I'm kind of working on also finishing up my degree. And actually I started more so since we're talking on the shows of the podcast there. That's sort of been a side project that's been going on for the last couple of years. We've had some partnerships, we've had some paid sponsorships, and some affiliations that we've been a part of now that's actually grown, which is what led to the network idea. The network idea was to look for other like-minded individuals who, like you have, your channel, trying to get noticed and get out there. We've got quite a few of us that have much larger shows that have a lot of huge fan base. So we like to network to kind of help each other with pumping up ratings, if you will. So, but yeah, I spend a lot of time doing that. I produce a lot of the shows. I do a lot of the artworks for the shows. I do have my friend and partner who works with me that does a lot of the work there that you guys, if anybody has seen the show before, has seen. He's been on Big Hoss. as he's known. I'm also known as CM Crow on the show. But yeah, so got quite a lot on the docket, quite a busy schedule. So more so than I like sometimes.
Understood. And so I know you're the one who started this network, but was there anybody else who helped you start this network on your side?
Yeah, so my friend who I mentioned, my friend who's also a business partner too, goes as Big Hoss on the show, a couple of shows that we have. The idea was, in short, we had talked. We got to know each other during the COVID period when we were all in lockdown, several years ago now. Hard to believe, but he had done some podcasting before. I began to have an interest in looking at doing that, and so we sort of kind of had the same mindset. We wanted to collab and do a show together, which we did. We had a lot of ideas, so one show turned into two, turned into three, and we're now up to about, actually we've got more than that now. We're more than 10 shows we offer there. And then of course we had other folks, affiliates. But yeah, he's kind of a lot of the other part of the half of our duo there, part of our production studio that we have there as well. And again, he does a lot of the on-air stuff and a lot of promoting and things like that too. But yeah, it's just mostly him and I, the primary team.
And how many years you been doing this network for?
So the network itself, we've been podcasting for about, I think this is, what did we say? This is going on year 4, I think. The network itself is relatively new. We had got that idea over the last, what are we in now? February. I want to say the idea for that started right before the holidays. And in essence, it was just, we realized we had a lot of friends that wanted to collab, and we wanted to sort of have one basic umbrella of where people would recognize us for, us and other shows that we had. So the network idea came in. One of our friends actually had this idea. I based it off of, is like having a television network where we have, like the old days, you have the TV guide where you saw what shows were lined up during the week, different time slots. And so that's kind of what led to the idea of, hey, let's make this a network so we can feature all the shows that are affiliated with us, as well as like now expanding to newer talent that we're adding. So we have time slots for everybody.
Understood. And that that's with the network 1000, it was originally just called Davis 1000, but back in, I believe it was 2022, I was helped with an idea of something like that, and that's how I changed to the network 1000
Okay.
So yeah, let me see, and of course my schedule is a little bit different. We have the winter schedule, the spring, summer, and fall. Like it's different schedules all year round, basically.
Mhm.
So now tell us if we can think of somewhat most of them. What shows are on your network, other than my show right now? But other than mine, like what shows are on your network?
Yeah, I can actually, I have, I kind of do this on our shows. I'll flash. We do have artwork. So in addition to, I'm going to throw up one of these. I know I got a bunch of different ones. Let's see if I get the right one. Which one is that's the network.
Yep.
Is that the official?
Yep, that's
So,
my logo.
yeah, there we go. So there, we add, you have him coming on as essentially the newest talent. We feature your show there. The last one that we added before that, where did his logo go? We have this show here, which is called Music, Movie, Sports, and Stuff, hosted by Bill Van Vagel, who's also added recently as one of our newer talents. You can check out his shows, or primarily Spotify is what he has it on mostly. We also are affiliated with another show known as Vigilantes Radio Live, with one of our other friends and partners that helped us get this started. We also have an affiliation with that. We have a series of shows called Voices of Fans, which is another affiliate. It's a sports show that features live here in the U.S., and there's also a version up in Canada. Let's see what else we have. One of our newest shows, which I did add on. That's right. We had the Three Amigos podcast, which is one of our new shows that we just added recently, which features myself, my partner I mentioned, Big Hoss there, and another partner, Pagosi, who's there. That's a relatively new show. We started that probably right before actually end of summer this past year. Who else do I have on here? I think that's everybody we had added. So those, and plus in addition, we have, which I'll put it up here. If you go and check us out, there's our backdrop. We have about 10 shows listed on there as well. So all in all, right now we've got about probably, I'd say just shy of 20 podcasts that we have on the network if you add everything up.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And did you ever start doing podcasting like before the network?
Yeah, that's actually where we started. Myself and Big Hoss. We did our shows. We did it by ourselves for a while, which led to, I think I have it on here as well. Maybe I don't. Well, I kind of have a still shot. There's the frame shot that has our studio logo there. That was sort of the original project that we had done. Actually, it spawned from, instead of one show, we created our own production company. We did that. And so we did that actually up until currently. And then once we met our other friends and associates that we started to collaborate with, and then decided we wanted to make this one large network, that's when it sort of morphed into this whole big super collider of different shows, which began to branch out when we had other talent that reached out and said, "Hey, we're interested in coming on board." So and so about the 3 year period, about 3 years prior to the network is when we started doing podcasting.
Okay. And how did the podcasting start for you, by the way?
The short end of it, it's a fun story, but the short end of it was when COVID hit, obviously again, that the initial period when we were all stuck for 3 months, can't go outside, the social distancing, all that stuff. I had done a lot of, which most people did, a lot of online surfing and different things because there wasn't obviously much else to do. I noticed that a lot of people, again, podcasting wasn't a new concept, but it wasn't one that seemed to generate a lot of interest. I think it really picked up its height. At least for me in my assessment during COVID, but I saw that like everybody kind of had their own show. Like shows were popping up on everything and anything you could think of, like to the most interesting shows to some like weird ones. Like every day people were, doing shows about what am I doing right now. So I kind of sat there and I thought, this is interesting because I have a lot of things I could share and I want to say. I hadn't thought about as a podcast, but when I saw the people doing it, it kind of gave me the idea that, I could do this too. But then it led to, do I want to do it by myself? So then I knowing Big Hoss and talking with him, I asked him, we kind of launched that together. And again, he did it before I did. So he had some experience. He had attempted to long before we knew each other. That's really where that bug kind of sat in. And then once we started branching out, it kind of just took off and it grew from there.
Oh, very cool. So let me see. And what is what did you have any favorite memories during your podcast over the years?
Probably some. Well, the obvious ones are we've had a lot of special guests that we've interviewed on the show. We've had a lot of very fun local celebrity guests on the show. We did that kind of thing, which is always unique. For me, though, the fun ones I like to think about, which a lot of people don't, are the technical difficulties and the glitches that I always say, you don't realize what a production looks like until you're on that side of it. Because obviously people see they see the show, they see the glitz, the glamour, they see a produced show that looks good, but they don't see the struggle. And so I think one of my favorites too is I think it was one of our very first shows where we were just learning how to use streaming software and things like that. It was basically I call it our rough draft of a pilot episode that really was a buckle up of what not to do and how things can go wrong right away. From technical glitches to mics not being turned on to cameras not working to the internet dropping. We've had shows where we'd be doing a show and all of a sudden there'd be like a storm going on and we'd have a sudden power outage. I think we had one episode where there was a power outage like right during an episode. So everything just all the power went out. Uh, so
Dang.
those are some of my favorite ones. I know that seems kind of strange for a lot of people. Like, why would you like to? But those are the early days. You kind of realize, you look back and say, we were all young once and making those mistakes. And, we see from that point to where we are now, how much we've grown and how much things change. So that, and again, like I said, the celebrities and the guest shows that we've had, and even we do a lot of party episodes where we'll play games and stuff. So those are always fun, but those are probably my most fond memories, and we're still making memories, which is awesome.
Absolutely. And what celebrities have you interviewed as regular celebrities, like you mentioned?
So most of them I have reached out to some more famous folks, which I won't share because we haven't had success in booking them yet. We've had a lot of local celebrities. I have a friend who is married to a mixed martial arts fighter who's got a pretty favorable record. We've had her on the show a couple times. We've had a couple local up and coming musicians and bands, artists that I've met through affiliates that have come on that have a pretty fair success. There's a group that's down. I think if I remember correctly, they're based in Texas.
Okay.
Who was nice enough to come on. The lead singer, we interviewed her. That's actually one of my favorite interviews because that did not go the way I anticipated it. It kind of mutated on its own. She kind of took over the show, which was nice. I kind of just said, "No, here's the steering wheel. Go ahead." But and I've also had, from my background, I've studied martial arts for many years. I've had a few guests who are in that martial arts community that have been training for a long time. That I've had. There's one woman that I met who runs her online school. She's actually located in Thailand. And so that was an interesting episode because we had to coordinate scheduling because she's on a 12-hour difference. So to get her on the same schedule for me it was challenging, but we did it. But she runs like her own successful online school. She's also an MMA fighter as well, so she competes in the octagon and everything too. So which has always been a lot of fun. I'm trying to think who else did we have. We've had through another affiliation, we are getting some local clientele that are coming on that are looking to a lot of musical artists that are trying to get noticed. We've been doing that. We have a sort of a schedule we've been getting to interview those kind of folks. We've had some rappers on, things like that. We are still looking. Like as I said, I've reached out to a few PR people as far as celebrities, like some voice actors and things that have responded. We just haven't had any success yet as far as booking. We're always looking though, so we're hoping that we can expand that repertoire. But the guest interviews they've been a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about like any sport players, like from the pros, of football or baseball or any of that?
We haven't as of yet. We are hoping though. Currently, as the network has branched off, we've been getting interest from a lot of sports shows. We do have one of our collabs that we have there. I don't know if they've been successful yet, but if they've kind of have an inside track there, we're hoping that maybe down the line we might have a chance to tread those waters, as that saying goes. I don't want to say too much just to jinx it too, because nothing is official, but we're hoping that, especially in the sports category, we've kind of been opening up quite a bit. So we're hoping that will kind of set the tone for the network for those kind of interviews. That's kind of one of our big projects for the future. We'll put it that way. So nothing official yet, but we're trending that way, and I'm thinking that we might see a shift in that hopefully soon.
Absolutely. And so is there speaking of the network, is there a schedule of shows where people can see and know what's coming up?
So we're still rough drafting as we're adding talent and we're kind of piecing things in. And we're obviously trying to get things rolling. We've had some snafus with our stuff, but typically the baseline of a schedule usually goes. We try to go live with our main show. We have what we call the What's Up Bro show, which is the main show that myself and Big Hoss do. That is kind of the flagship show, one of them. We tend to go live on Saturday nights on YouTube. Now with video, we incorporate now video podcasting. We were always audio, but we shifted gears a little bit because it's kind of trending to video. So we go live. We have our YouTube channel, which we can share links. You guys, if anybody wants to check it out, can. We also have our link tree, which shows our website, which also has the YouTube in there, so you can find it there as well. But we typically go live usually around 10 p.m. Eastern on Saturday nights. We are getting back into our recording audio schedule, which what would happen is we would pre-record audio episodes off the air, and new episodes would drop probably sometime on a Friday. We usually drop those on Fridays. So that can fill that Friday night slot. Sometimes we have extra additional shows. If we get booked for a special guest, which we have our calendar up, people can do that. So sometimes there's a show Friday night. Sometimes we do the Three Amigos podcast, which typically runs on a Thursday night around 10 Eastern time. But sometimes we move it depending on scheduling. The sports shows kind of stagger. I know music, movie, sports, and stuff. Bill does his show. I think he said Wednesday nights. He's periodically. He's not every week. But then the other sports shows we have usually Voice of the Fans. We do usually like a Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on schedules. And so everything else kind of is open ended. Again, we're still looking for more talent, and then once we get more people that are interested, then we're going to kind of like close that gap. But that's kind of where the schedule is sitting right now. And again, easy way to do that too, as we tell everybody, is make sure if you find us, follow us, because we do post updates a lot of times when schedules change when we can. That's usually the easiest way. But that's about the usual baseline of when we have what we have scheduled.
And is there any new shows coming up on the network?
We have new shows as in new episodes, or like
new shows in general.
So we did actually just do if you guys want, like I said, you can check it out on our YouTube channels there. We'll share the link. We did actually have a special guest interview. What's today? Monday. We did a special interview on Saturday night, which that episode is available on our YouTube channel. Guys can check that out. Got a lot of views, which we appreciate that. This week coming up, today is Monday. We did do a time change. We are going to probably do it Friday night, but we have a new Three Amigos podcast episode, which drops this week. We do also have a special one. I do want to I keep forgetting to promote this because this is coming up soon. We are going to have a very special episode on our Three Amigos podcast show coming up just after St. Patrick's Day. We decided to do we're calling it the St. Patty's Day drinking game challenge. So we're going to see which of us can down the most alcoholic drink of their choice. I thought it'd be fun for everybody to watch. That's going to be on March 19th. Since we usually go Thursday night, it'll be the Thursday right after St. Patty's Day. But that's coming up. That's a special bookmark episode we got coming up. So that's just around the corner. I'm not sure about the sports shows. That's kind of up and down. But then again, usually on Saturday, Monday? This Saturday, we should have a new episode of the What's Up Bro show coming out, which will be live. You guys can check it out on YouTube, on our Twitch channel. We got to get our Kick channel going. We are also expanding on Rumble as well. We haven't tested that yet. But that would be Saturday night. And then we usually get a couple other shows that drop here and there. So it could be a full week, depending on who's available.
Yeah, of course. And speaking of people, why do you think people should join the network that you have running?
It's a great question, because we've recently been getting some rebuffing for this, and I understand for a lot of people. I got this question. We get a lot of similar questions where people don't understand it. I think a lot of it is, I know everybody's trying to make it, and I say this too, when you come on your show, you guys run your shows, we try to coordinate with you just to sort of make sure we have an idea of when you're going to be on. Like, let's just say, for example, if I forget, what do you usually go on? What nights do you usually go live with your show? Or what do you do?
Wednesdays
so
and Thursdays.
Yeah, so like we'll say, okay, David, when are you going? Okay, Wednesday and Thursday, you're going at this way. Sometimes if we have to layer like shows, we make sure we don't want to have something running during like your time slot, but we try to like put everything there. But outside of that, typically it's just, we like to have the affiliation, because we find, the more of us, I know that the term is safety in numbers. Not so much that, it's the notoriety is there when you have numbers. Like, you can kind of, when you see one, you kind of recognize another. And we've been recognized based on other shows that have been now tied to us. So I think that's why it's beneficial. But some people, they do want to make it on their own. I can respect that. Everybody's got their own way of doing things.
Yeah.
We know. And that's why I wanted to clarify with this too, that how we do it is we don't look to it. We are obviously all trying to make some income out of it. And I say this, and again, this is something that we haven't, as far as the board goes, we have a group of us that are pretty much like, we run the directives and everything. We haven't talked about those details yet because we're not quite that far. But everything would be shared as far as everybody would get what is entitled to them. We're not looking to like we'll put it this way, just to be blunt, if you will. Like if you're making money for your show, I'm not looking to pick your pocket and take more than take what's not fair and what's not equitable and all that kind of stuff. We look at it as we're all sharing and everything, and whatever we all put into it, we all get equal for it. So that's just kind of one area. I think that's what scares people too, because they say, oh, if we join a network, then we give over creative rights, we give over control. You don't. We're not taking anything from you. Again, we're just asking that you want to be a part of us. We will advertise for you across a plethora of shows. And again, we have, as I said earlier, we have several shows, like some friends of ours that have joined with us, that their shows are larger than ours. So that would only help you get noticed quicker, of course. So I think that's what a lot of it is, marketing. And it's a lot of people don't want to, they see it as surrendering, quote unquote, control. Where, like I said, I'm not doing that. Your show is your show. We coordinate with you. If you have questions, like we said, we have, and obviously, because you've been a part of it, we have chats for the talent and stuff. So like we do talk. The only thing is, like, when it comes to the bigger decisions, those of us that are selected on the board, which, we open that to, but if you're here long enough and if we feel that you're a good contributor, we can always talk about adding board members, but the board is really what controls the big decisions. That obviously something like, if we don't need you to worry about, you don't have to worry about it. But that's really it. So I think, though, that's what scares people, though, is just giving up control. And I'll say it again. I say this to reiterate, because that's the biggest key thing, I think, is what we get pushback for is your show is your show. Your logos are your logos. We don't copyright. We don't take anything. We are completely flexible. We will advertise anything and everything that you want us to do. It can even include, which I haven't figured out how this quite yet, but if we get, and I know I've had some of the guests that we've had on the shows are always looking to branch out. Like, we might be able to find you guests for your shows. If anybody who wants to interview guests, like the guests that have been on our shows can be on your shows. So again, it's that mutually beneficial, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Which is really what it's all about. So I think people just have a misunderstanding and misconception of what it is, and just think that we're out to be power hungry and steal everything, which is not true. So just for the record, so everybody knows. And I know a lot of people can say, "Oh, it's easy. He's saying that because he's being interviewed there," but that's the truth of it. That's really what it's about. So, but yeah, I think that's why. I think that's unfortunately.
Yeah, I that's. I agree with everything you said there, and like he basically is trying to help grow others.
That's it. Yep, that's the main goal. Yep.
And by the way, I forgot to ask you this earlier. Have you ever interviewed anybody in person before, or is this all online?
So we did. Most of it has been online. I did do one interview with a friend of mine who I've trained in martial arts for many years. I actually went to the dojo where we train, and I said to him, I want to come out. I had my phone on me. We were doing audio. I was able to, it wasn't the cleanest. And I learned too, it's kind of hard unless you have a studio stuff, which we kind of did later on. This was early days. This is back. But we sat in the room, we got chairs. I put a table, like a little stool between us. I laid my phone out on there because I had the recording studio there. And I basically did everything right in front of us. That was really the only in-person. I would love, and I'll say this, I haven't said this publicly or openly, but I would love if the network thing grows and if we can do this on a more, we're looking to do this more on a full-time basis to be more like creators for content and everything. And if
Yeah.
the network grows, I would love to have schedules where, let's say, and obviously if the finances are there, we have an interview with somebody who's in, let's say, New York City, for example. Okay, obviously
Yeah.
I'm where I'm at. I'm pretty close. I could probably drive there. But hey,
Like
anybody
New
from the
York.
network, like for you or any of the other shows, does anybody want to travel out there and do an in person? Obviously reflected back on the network, so we know it's affiliated. I would
Mhm.
love to do something like that. That's kind of I had that on a project thing. That's probably gonna be a down the road, obviously, project. But I would love to expand that and open it. But we just
Yeah.
find over the airways is over the internet's easiest for most people because again, most people have been in the comforts of their own homes. I've interviewed
Uh-huh.
people that are in their own living room or their own in-home studio. And obviously, with technology, it makes it very easy nowadays because the technology is advanced. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was the only interview in person. But I would absolutely, I'm open to it, and if there's more collabs, I would love to do more in person because a lot of times you can really capture more of the nuances when you're in person. Like we see a lot on television shows, like you see these TV interviews.
Yeah.
So that's a goal, and I would love to see that happen for us down the road.
Absolutely. Um, and do you have any other goals with this network going forward?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think of it as I would hope. I'm sure others kind of feel similar. I feel about it this. I kind of say it this way, and it's not. I'm not saying this to compare me to anybody particular, but just off the top of my head, I would
Mhm.
love to see it as a brand, kind of like Steve Jobs had in mind with Apple, which I'm not sure if that was initially his goal, but that's what happened. Like Bill Gates with Windows, obviously it became like a household brand. Now, well, whether or not it gets that far, I don't know, but I never like to put a cap on it because we always say the sky's the limit. You never know until you try, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these guys were founders of even I'll go back one further, like Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook. Didn't think it was going to blow up. It was just an idea. So I'd like to
Mhm.
see something along those lines where it becomes sort of a very popular yet very what's the word I'm looking for? Very healthy growing network, and maybe one day, like
Yeah.
obviously I'm not going to be around forever. I'd like to see it take on its own where someone else might take the torch from me one day, and maybe I know I maybe help start the whole thing, but obviously someone's got to succeed you somewhere down the road. I'd love to see it carry on, and I know some of us have had these conversations. Some of our other friends with some of their projects have said this, and I kind of adapted that to my own personality.
Yeah.
Is I would love to see it. I want to pass that torch on to someone else who can carry this on like a legacy down the road.
Uh-huh.
Not just because of me or anybody else, but just that it was something that was started on a great idea that others can get excited about and can come on and say, yeah, we can really grow ourselves and we can make this our own thing. Like it's just an idea that becomes an idea into another idea and so forth. So
Yeah.
that's really the only other big goal. I would love for that to happen. One of the other things too, which hopefully will happen again sooner than later, I'm looking at it as an enterprise of more than just podcasts. Like we do offer our own. We have merchandise that we have featured. I'd love to have like I kind of call it the Amazon effect. Like we could maybe we get into making artwork designs or making other merch for other people, other folks doing shows, or maybe brands, things like that. Maybe we work with other brands. I'd love to see the business side expand that way based on the network. Obviously, as the front running for that. What was the other project? The other project I've been doing as well, and I'm hoping, for me specifically, I know some of us have this gift of the production role. I would love to see us working with others, like whether that's maybe it's a different show, and I say, hey, like I had a friend, I said, hey, listen, you can run the show, but do you need someone to produce it? He's like, I don't like to do the production. I want to be the talent, but I need someone to run the controls. Well, our network based and our company can help you. We have people like myself. I've put myself out there. Like I can help produce your show. If that takes the burden off of you, then you can just focus on being the talent. Some people like
Yeah.
to do that. So I'd love to see that. And I hope to meet the other thing too, is when we look to add talent, like even like for you being the newest person coming on, is getting to know like what your skill set are. Is one of my things is I like to utilize everybody's skills that they have. And that way it gives everybody their own kind of additional job. That's another thing just to keep in mind for anybody interested. Like if you're looking what the network offers is we're like that sports world where we seek the best talent available to utilize their full potential. So maybe if we say, hey, like you want to produce something, I can say, all right, well, David, work closer with me. We'll get you on. And if I can find a show and I can say, hey, this guy wants to produce for you. He's really good at it. He's part of the network there. But if you need someone who can run that show, because again, the other thing too is I don't want us to all be overburdened where everybody's doing too much. Like if we can everybody has a job to do, we contribute, then like the burden doesn't all fall on me to do everything or Big Hoss or anybody else. And again, that way you're like for you putting your time and your effort in, this becomes part of your network because you're helping us build something. We're building that ship together. You know what I mean? So that's another big goal I'm hoping. So really it's just I want to see this be a very positive thing. I don't want people to be afraid of it. Again, I understand people have different goals. And I was saying to I know Bill, you've talked with Bill a little bit. Bill's kind of been our official, I tagged him as our official recruiter. So he likes to jump into those podcast groups and things and try to recruit people there. And he said to me recently, like, I'm not getting anywhere. Nobody wants to. No, keep at it. The right ones will come along. I look at it as the right people are meant to come along. And sometimes the wrong ones just don't stick. You gotta just wait. It's like going fishing. You gotta be patient. The right ones will take a bite. So, but I want it to be a positive thing, and I hope that again, anybody listening, if you watch this too, if you have a show, we want to help you. Again, we're not trying to poach you or do anything that's going to hurt you. We just want to make our goal is we take the motto is we want to make the podcasting world great again. We want to make it something special. It's nothing new. Obviously, we're not the first to do it. We certainly won't be the last to do it. Of course, there'll be others after us, but we want to make it special. I like to have, and I don't know if you're old enough, you probably have seen the show, but this movie, Beloved. We want to be the Wayne's World effect. We want to be this fun, entertaining, something that catches people's views and eyes, and we want to be we would like to have some notoriety for it. Doesn't mean we'd be rich and famous, but we'd like to be like, oh yeah, those guys were like watching Wayne and Garth. These guys are fun. These are party. Like this is entertaining. This is relaxing and not in a bad way of this show's all too political or too hard topic. We do get on hard topics with certain shows, but we try to keep it light and very, very laid back and fun because everybody has a rough week. So we want to be that comedic SNL relief, I guess, if you will. That's more probably most generational there. So that's really the hope. And like I said, again, I hope someday someone will continue this on and maybe if you think about me, great. If not, that's okay. So.
Yeah, of course. And that's basically like what I'm doing with my Network 3000 YouTube channel as well. Is my goal is to make it, a huge thing, in the next 5 years or so. I don't really like to be one of those people that have like a 10-year plan, but it's just a goal of mine because that way I don't have to be the one that one day is control of everything because my goal is to at least set back at least for some of it, not like the whole thing, So,
yeah.
And
and I think that's why, like when we talked, and then when you said to have the interest there, I thought, obviously we're getting good at knowing when people are like-minded and have similar goals. And that's why I think as we talked, and I mentioned that to you, I said I think we would be a good fit because again, our goals sort of agendas line up that way. And that's what we look for. That's the other key thing. Like, and I'll just share this. I want to impart this wisdom to anybody, even if you don't join our network or you do something similar. And not everybody finds somebody like-minded off the bat, but keep an open mind with that. But if you are able to connect, we've been very fortunate, like with you, with Bill. We have found, and again, it's slow growing, but I'm very confident that we have such a talent with all of us that we can really make this. Same like you, I kind of have a plan. I don't put a timeline on it just because time is always hard to kind of nail down. I'd like to see some things happen at certain checkpoints, like when you're racing, there's certain like checkpoints you want to hit. But as long as we're making progress, that's really what counts. But I feel like when you have those unique people and you are able to really bond and connect. And the same thing we said too. The key spice of this cooking ingredient is we are able to all work together where we're not trying to trump one another. We're not trying to outdo one another. We're not trying. And again, a lot of us, we have similar shows, but they're not exactly the same because we're all unique individuals, right? So we just found a way to, like certain animals and wildlife and nature, you found a way to sort of commingle, coexist, and again, achieve common goal, which is what, like I said, we all want to have some form of success, whatever. Everybody has different levels of success they view. But we want to be able to put our own thumbprint, our own stamp on it, saying this was our unique thing. I said this on the interview the other night, actually, where somebody asked me this too, like, are you worried someone's going to copy? Listen, I'm the OG, I'm the original. If any of you want to copy me, that's great. You can't be me, though. You can copy me, but there's no one else that's going to be exactly like me. Same like for you. No one's going to, they might do something similar to what you're doing, but they can't be David. You are your own unique stamp, your own fingerprint. So if you knowing that, it makes me feel good because at least I can say, yeah, I put my handprint on it and I left my mark there. Kind of like they do in the music industry. You know, everybody wants to create something, but you want it to be you. You want it to be unique. And that's, I'll say this lastly too, as far as the network. I think this is the other question. What also scares people is in joining, like with us, the network is just a foundation to launch to people. So they all kind of come, like we're probably going to do a network page where it's going to have like all the links for all the shows. We're talking about a Facebook page for that, things like that. That's kind of the idea, but it's not meant to take away your unique design. Like for you, 3000 is your network brand. We're not looking to change it, adapt it. That's strictly you. You're just a part of us, a part of a bigger chain to try to make you to pump more views and things that way. But I'm not changing your logo. I'm not asking you to do anything that, you know, I might recommend a few things and say, hey, this is just a suggestion. You know, we want to help you learn and grow and all that stuff. But I'm not taking creative control. We don't step in and say, hey, you know, we're running this is that. No, it's you. It's almost like a franchise kind of thing. You're the franchisee. You have, it might be an umbrella of a network name, but you run how you do things. So, which is the core. And we find, and that's important too, because we find that we also don't want to do all the work either. We feel like whatever you put into it, you deserve because you're contributing by working hard at your own craft. Now the only thing I say this is where the line kind of blurs a little bit. And again, I want to put this out. This is that disclaimer, as they say. If someone joins, let's say it has a show and they want to come on the network, and if we find that we have to pick up the slack because you're not doing your part or anything like that, whether that's maybe you're supposed to meet a time, like you have a time slot for your show for the week and you haven't done any new episodes, and you know maybe we're plugging a different show or something like that, we might say to you, listen, if we don't, you know, obviously we want to boot you because you're being more a liability, you're not being an asset here. If we have to do the work for you, then obviously we're going to take the credit because we're doing the work for you. We don't want to do that, though. We say to you, you are responsible for your own stuff. We want to see you grow and flourish, and we'll help you, but we're not like we don't want to do everything for you either. You know, kind of makes sense. So that's really the only thing there. As again, because I think people have that misconception too of, oh, if we come on, then we're going to do everything. No, it's a contribute as you will. So we just want to be clear there. But again, everything else is very laid back. So all these things are really what the vision was when I proposed this idea to the others, which everybody liked the idea. And I said, yeah, I did come up with it, but I drew inspiration from a lot of our friends. We have mentors that are working with us that helped us get started with podcasting, I took little bits and pieces, like taking clips from different books. I took a little bit from everybody to build this recipe for this network. And I'm really happy where it's going. Again, like having you guys and others, new talent that's interesting coming on, really excited about. And we're rooting for you guys there. We want to see you really succeed. And I said, like I tell anybody who comes on, I'm going to do everything within my power to help expose you to anywhere we can. And again, since we've had the new show, we've been growing rapidly. So, you know, things can happen just kind of like that. So, but that's really great. So those are some of the large things that I hope to see from the network there. And then, you know, in the future, like I said, hopefully someone will carry that forward. And we want to leave our stamp. We want to make something special and know that this was us. And we always say too, if we inspire someone else, that's great. But that's really ultimately the whole preface of this is just everybody to succeed and to grow.
100%. And where can they find you on social media?
So you can go, and actually, since I'll put it up. I have the control here. If you'll indulge me for a moment, this is the easiest way. That's why I kind of did this too. There's a QR code. If anybody wants to use your device, you can click that little QR code above my head there, which is our link tree. I'm also going to do this. Some of us are old school and we don't don't know how to do that. On the bottom is the tracker there, a link tree /J_J Production Studios. If you click on that, that will take you, it'll list all of our website. It'll take you to all of our social media platforms where you can find us. We're going to get those running. We've had them down for a bit. We're going to get them up and running again. You can also find all of our audio episodes. We're on SoundCloud and Spotify, iHeartRadio. The YouTube channel is actually there where we're watching. Well, we have this on Twitch as well. That channel is listed there, but where you can find all of these are there. I will share. I have some other links. I don't have them on here. I'm working to edit. I'm trying to get everybody to give me links so I can make this easier to flash on here. But for my socials, which I think, David, you might have, if you want to share those, if you know how to put them on there, you can point people toward my page if you want. My page is not a digital page. For me, for Big Hoss. But that's the best place is the link tree. That's there. We'll leave that float there for just a second, give you guys a chance to type it in or scan the code. You can also we also have through Linktree and also on our website, we have an email subscription option. So if you guys want to be notified when we do release new content, we have some new subscribers that did sign up by email. That's great. I'm not entirely sure how it works. I haven't been on that side of it, but I believe if you do that, anytime we launch episodes, you'll get an email sent directly to your inbox. Just make sure you check your spam folder if you haven't added us in your contacts. But that way, for those that don't have social media, that's a great way to keep up. I know some of the older folks, they don't have social media. They're not up with the times, and that's great. Some choose not to do that, but that's just another way to do that. You can check that out. Also, we have our merchandise stores there. If you guys want to see what kind of goodies we have there, there's all kinds of neat stuff. You can check that out. That's on there. We also offer two other things. We offer a exclusive. We have our Patreon on there. If you guys want to support our shows and get exclusive content that you can't find anywhere else, you can get yourselves a Patreon subscription. It's anywhere from as low. I think our lowest one is a basic one is it's like $3 a month. If anybody's interested, if you would like to do that, we appreciate that. You don't have to. Anything that we have that's monetize wise that you have to pay for, we always tell people we roll that back into creating content. So we don't pocket that directly. We use that to help grow, make more shows, upgrade equipment, things of that nature. So just for anybody who knows where that money goes, that's what we use that for. If you're interested, you can. And lastly on there is our Calendly, which I'm going to have to edit that again. But if you'd like to be a special guest on our show or any of the other shows, we're going to try to open that up at some point. You can book directly there. We love to have people on if you have your own small business starting up, or if you're a musical artist, or if you have your own Etsy store or eBay store, or any kind of small business that's your word of mouth. We'd love to help promote you. We are also looking for sponsors. We have a couple that have just joined on that are, and we appreciate them. Actually, let me do a shameless plug since we're here, because I mentioned that. Now I mentioned it, I said it. And the link tree is there too. One of our main sponsors that is there, which we appreciate. I got to find the photo. Where did I put it? There it is. A local Borders Rare Coins and Fine Jewelry. If anybody's looking to make some extra cash and you need some side income, which we could all use, you can sell your precious metals there. Contact owner Jeff there at that phone number listed, 973-390-4606, or visit borgersrarecoins.com. You can't see it because the ticker's there. Proud sponsor for us. We've got a couple others lined up as well. And again, if anybody's interested, we'd love to promote you. But yeah, so really appreciate you guys taking time to view this. And I want to say back, like David said too, you're glad to be here. We're glad to have you. We're looking forward to helping you grow the network there and growing your show. And again, if you know anybody, reach out to any of us. If you are interested, if you thought about starting a podcast, or maybe you have a podcast that hasn't taken off, or any kind of YouTube channel or show, Our network is based, our primary objectives are to help people grow and to get noticed. We can do that. You can contact me directly if you want more questions. I know some of the others can help as well. Please don't be shy. You can reach out. I'm happy to chat with you about it to give you more information, but we'd love to have you part of us. We're having an open invitation. Again, we see it as if we succeed, you guys succeed, we all can succeed together. So let's make podcasting, let's make entertainment, really should be the better word. Let's make entertainment great again. Let's do something unique and something special. Yes. So we hope you guys will join that. But I appreciate the support there. Let me turn these off because it starts to get annoying after a while. Again, you guys can check that out. I will share those links again. You guys can check it out as well. But yeah, we appreciate that, and we're looking forward to great things in the future.
Absolutely. And with that being said, that'll be it for this interview.
Are you looking for the most fun entertainment on YouTube? Then welcome to the Network 3000. We have game shows, blogs, live streams, podcasts, live shows, sport videos, gaming videos, plus more. Subscribe today. We hope you enjoy the Network 3000 on YouTube.
All right, everyone. It's now time for Do You Know the Jackpot, and I'm here with Jamar. How are you doing, Jamar?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good. Are you ready to play Do You Know the Jackpot?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, welcome to Do You Know the To win big at this game, it's going to take a lot of guts, a lot of luck, and a great sense of timing. And of course, this is the speed Do You Know deal, so in every round you have to pick cases all at once. So without per round. So here we go. Game, please. All right, here we go. There are 26 cases, holding different amounts of money aside. We don't know what is in what case out of the 26. But today's jackpot will contain a big amount of a whopping 44 million. And it's gonna go all the way down to a single penny. So without further ado, Tamar, pick a case out of 26 to start with.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and select case number 1.
Hold on a sec. The game crashed. Give me one moment.
Oh dear.
Let me don't worry, don't worry, we'll get to it. If it happens one more time, I'll just basically restart my computer and then we go from there. Alright. We'll wait for this to go through. Okay. Mississippi Air Coast. Case number 1. Hopefully case number 1 contains that 44 million. But in order to determine that, we're going to open up the other 25 cases. Whoever knows is not in your case. So, Jamar, pick your first 6 cases.
All right. Let's start with number 26.
Go on. Keep going.
Oh, that's right. This is a speed deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's
Okay. 18. 14. 9. 22. And unlucky 13. Unlucky 13.
Number 26 has 13.2 million. Number 18, 1,100. Number 14, 220. Number 9, 44,000. Number 22, 2.2 million. And number 13, oh! The good news though, $33 million is still in play. It is still in play. Okay, so Jamar, first offer, you have 15 seconds to make your decision. And it is $982,000. So, question is, you don't know.
Already off to a painful start, especially knocking out the top amount early on in the game. But I'm going to keep going. No deal.
No deal. All right, 5 cases now.
All right. 24. 17. 5. 19. 8.
24 contains 2,200. Number 17. Oh, man. 33 million. Number 5. Oh, Jesus. $22 million now. Number 19. Come on, that's 8.8. Come on, let's get a small amount. 3.3 million. Well, could have been worse. That was not a good round. The good news is you still have $3 million amounts on the board. So at least there's that for now. The next big offer is $302,000. Deal or no deal?
It's still early in the game. I'm going to say no deal.
All right, no deal. All right, 4 cases now.
All right. 25. 10. 3 and 23.
Number 25 has 13,200. Number 10 has 4.4 million. Number 3 for 40,000. And number 23, $22,000. Okay. Here we go. Next offer. $653,000. For more cases, deal or no deal?
No deal. I'm gonna keep going.
Alright, no deal. What do you want to do next? What case?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to be very, very careful. If I pick the case that has 17.6, the offer's gonna plummet drastically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to go all the way if I want those two big amounts that are left in play.
Yep.
All right, 2, 16, and 21.
Number 2 is 220,000. Okay. Number 16. Oh no, is this what I think it is? Come on, let's see that penny. It's not the penny, but it's $8,800. Alright. 1,430,000. Question is deal or no deal?
I think I have a better chance of avoiding the 17.6, so I'm gonna continue. No deal.
Alright.
All right.
Okay, sis.
All right, I'm gonna have to be very, very careful because I have a better chance of having an amount on the left side here. All right. 12 and 6. 12 first.
Number 12. 70,600. And number 6. 3,300. Be careful on your next decision because if you knock out the 17.6 million, the game is over. $2,301,000. Deal or no deal?
No deal. I'm gonna play another round.
All right. One case at a time now for the rest of the game. Take that case now.
Oh, come on. Let's try to get rid of the penny if I can. Ugh. Lucky 7.
Number 7 has $44. Okay. Next big offer is going to be $2,679,000. Deal or no deal?
No deal. I'm gonna keep going.
All right. One case now.
All right. So I've got a 20% chance of having 17-6. Number 4.
Number 4. Open the case. 4,400. Okay. You see why people, at least for now, people want to go all the way? 3,561,000 dollars. One case. No deal.
No deal. I'm gonna play again.
No deal. He is a risk taker. 11, 15, or 20.
All right. 25% chance of having the 17-6. I'm gonna go with 15.
Number 15, please open the case. And it's a penny.
Yeah, finally. Yes.
We finally got the penny. Is Jamar a multi-millionaire? We have to see. We have one more round to get through before we make that determination. $5,760,000. You know the drill. Deal or no deal?
All right. Tough one here. I'm feeling lucky. No deal.
No deal. All right. And another 20.
All right. Last chance to avoid the 17-6. 11, please.
11, please, up with the case. Oh. At least, I don't know what to say. $70,000. Might as well take the deal.
Oh, that's my lowest offer. Oh man. If I had said 20 and I said no deal and I swapped it, I would have had it right there. Well, I'm gonna say deal because I'm not gonna accept $440.
I know brand new right there. $17,000 is today's winning. Okay, so now tomorrow, excuse me. What do you want to do? You want to keep your case or switch it?
Well, I already said deal, but I would have kept my case.
You're gonna keep your case. Okay, that is your. Oh wait, never mind. $440,000. I mean, $440. You made a great deal. How about that, Jamar? How do you feel?
It's better than nothing. I'll say that.
Absolutely. So, I made a little error. I meant to say, want to keep a case and swap it. If we got to the end, well, no deal was but you know. But we had a good deal today. That's all that matters. So next time here, I'll do no deal. See ya.
Bye.
All right, everyone, it is now time for our next interview here on the 3000 Hangouts program. Please welcome a podcaster who talks about sports and other stuff as well. Please welcome Tim. How are you doing, Tim?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, tell us about yourself and what do you do currently for a living?
Well, let's talk about the podcast. We started this on January 1st, 2021, right in the middle of COVID, like a lot of us did, with the idea of doing it for a couple months. It's myself and my oldest son, Kyle.
Okay.
And we started it because we met with a friend of ours over dinner one night. And she kept looking at us going, you guys should be on the radio someplace. And I've got a background in radio. Kyle as well has been on radio in the past. And we
Okay.
just kind of laughed about it and blew it off. But we said we'll do it for a couple of months and just have something fun to look back on. Well, 5 years later, we're still doing it. We
Yep.
have 213,000 deeply disturbed subscribers that watch us, which I appreciate. And like you said, we talk about sports. We're based in Wisconsin, so obviously there's a heavy lean on not only the Packers and the Brewers. We're both Cubs fans, even though we live in Wisconsin.
Okay.
But places like we talk about the Bears with their stadium situation going on right now. I lived in Tampa for over a decade. Kyle lived there for about 8 years. So we became very large Tampa Bay Lightning and Tampa Bay Rays fans. Neither of us would ever leave the Packers for the Buccaneers, so that was not going to happen. But we've covered their stadium situation at length on where they're going to end up building, and we're ahead of the curve on a couple of things for the stadium. So that's a little about us.
Yeah, what's your thoughts about before we forget? What's your thoughts about the stadium situation right now?
With which one, the Rays or with the Bears?
The Bears. Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Bears need one final vote on SB 27 in Indiana, which will actually create the stadium district. They've settled on a site, which is in Hammond, which, for anyone that doesn't know the area, is literally across the bridge from Illinois.
So it's like still in Chicago somewhat. No.
It's part of Chicagoland.
Okay.
It's always been known as Chicagoland. The only difference is, obviously, it's in Indiana. And I've got to be honest with you, the offer that Indiana is making is one of the best offers to a team I've ever seen. They're gonna build a stadium for them. The Bears will pay it off over time, and then they'll be charged $1 rent per year. They'll keep the revenue from the skyboxes and all the food items and the concessions and everything that's there. So it's a great deal. I do think they're on the behalf of the McCaskies, but let's face it, they're tied to Papa Bear Hallis, and they started the league. Would they like to stay in Illinois? Absolutely. Is Illinois trying their damnedest to make it impossible for them to do that? Absolutely. And I think they're ready to pull the trigger, honestly, to move across the river. There is going to be some environmental concerns in that Hammond site because it's right by the Wolf Lake area. They'll get those worked out the same way that Miller Park County Stadium did in Milwaukee back in the day. It was built on basically a dump zone, and they were able to get past those environmental concerns as well. And I assume the Bears will as well without any problems at all.
And they will still be called the Chicago Bears, correct?
Sure. Do we still call the Giants New York Giants and the New York Jets? They play in New Jersey. So, it's still going to be the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I was just making sure because I didn't heard about that part yet. But I know about the Giants and Jets situation. They're still called New York, so even though they're New Jersey, but it's I don't know how they still call themselves that, but
it's all about the marketing, and the Bears.
Yeah,
the Bears are Chicago, but they still owe $500 million on the renovations that were made to Soldier Field almost 25 years ago now. Illinois is one of the worst run states in the country as far as fiscally managed. I don't think that's any big secret. Indiana, Indiana wants the Bears. It would be a way for them to redevelop that Northwest corridor, which has been it's been challenged economically for a very long time. So it makes sense on a lot of different levels for both parties.
Absolutely. So, how did sports start for you, and what sport was it that got you inspired to fall in love with sports?
So I have always been in love with the world's greatest sport, and that's baseball. Um, you know, I'm of the age, so I can remember vaguely the Milwaukee Braves, but I had a lot of family and all my brothers and a lot of friends who had their dads that were huge Braves fans, still are to this day as far as being Milwaukee Braves fans. Then the
I like
Brewers
that.
came to town. But go ahead.
I like the Braves now. No, currently.
Okay, yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
obviously. In any case, I came home after school and was able to turn in, this is back in the day of the tall TV antennas, and was able to pick up a Chicago Cubs game. And the game that I turned on just happened to be the one that Ernie Banks hit his 500th home run. I was
Wow.
hooked. I've been a Cubs fan ever since. I remain so. And it was easy for me for 15 years because the Brewers were in the American League. I could be a fan of them. The Cubs were in the National League. I could be a fan of them without any problems mixing. It's been a little more challenging, and Kyle and I have had quite a bit of back and forth on that. He doesn't call me a real Cubs fan, but yet I am.
Yeah, with the story that explains it, but I guess anybody can refer any team, known as uh, like you have a reason for it, and also like you don't support that owner, like that owners that are in trouble or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
known as you support them correctly. That's
Yeah. And as far as I go, I played baseball through, I played bar league baseball, and I was a catcher, played a little in college, coached in college. Tennis was my real sport. I played and coached tennis professionally for a short time.
Okay.
But baseball, when I got out of college, I could have either went to Hawaii to be an assistant teaching pro as a tennis coach, or I could go to Devon Pitt, Iowa, and work for a minor league baseball team down there. And I wanted to be the next Johnny Bench. I forgot I couldn't hit a fastball to save my life, so I went down there.
Okay. What other favorite teams? What other favorite players do you have as well, other than Ernie Banks?
Oh, well, if we're going to go in baseball, obviously, and say on that same team, Ron Santo, I got to meet him several times at golf tournaments and what have you. Great guy. And what he overcame to become the player he was. I mean, to play Major League Baseball with type 1 diabetes that you couldn't even acknowledge you had back during that day is just unheard of. My favorite player of all time is Hank Aaron, because I got to watch that entire seventh race for 715. And I also got to learn about the most vile hatred and racism any person's ever had to go through. He had death threats on him every game during that watch, and yet he persevered and broke the record. And it's why today he's still the all-time legal home run king. And pushing him out of the limelight is just a crime as far as I'm concerned, because without him, some of the cheaters of the steroid era wouldn't even be there. Other favorite, anybody on the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers. We were lucky enough. They just last year, a couple guys, former head of CBS Entertainment and a movie producer from out in California, did a story on the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers called Just a Bit Outside. If you haven't seen that, you should absolutely go and watch it. It was outstanding. It took you through the highs and the lows of that entire season, which I lived and died through. And we got to interview several of the players from that team. Paul Molitor. Yeah, it was Paul Molitor, Cecil Cooper, Mike Caldwell, Jim Gantner, obviously, was on a spark plug on that team. We had a lot of fun, and the movie turned out spectacularly.
Yeah, going back to Hank Aaron, like I call him the home run king because even though people say it's Barry Bonds, but the truth is, I I view Hank Aaron as a home run king because not just because of the steroid part, but he had like how many consecutive All Star game appearances and
Mhm.
Gold Gloves, and also he's a World Series champion, and I consider that being a huge part into him being the home run king because that's something Barry Bonds was never able to accomplish. And that is be a World Series champion. So, to me, I call him Aaron the home run king because of the fact that he is a World Series champion. That's mostly my part. With the
Well,
steroids, you know, it's just it. It really depends on how you view it, but to me, it's Hank Aaron.
well, when people forget about Hank Aaron that he was in fact an outstanding five-tool player. You could take
Yes,
away all 755 home runs he had in his major league career, and he still would have had over 3,000 hits.
that's another stat I saw as well. Like without the home runs, still 3,000 hits. Like Roberto Clemente with his
Yeah,
3,000 number that he ended his career with the
I
hits as concerned.
I was
They still retired his number by the way, 21.
oh,
They got it hard.
as they should. I was live when that happened, and the Pittsburgh was an outstanding team,
Hmm.
and everybody admired Roberto Clemente during that time. I certainly did. He was so much fun to watch play, and he had a cannon for an arm,
Yeah,
and he was trying to save lives when his plane crashed. It was a
yeah,
very sad time, and the Hall of Fame did the right thing at that point by waiving the 5 years and putting him in automatically.
100%. Um, so what other athletes do you met? Because you said you interviewed the 1982 Brewers, but what else? Who else did you interview
Oh,
or met in person? Whatever.
we've had we've had a lot of people. I mean, during my time in baseball, I got to Chuck Finley, who pitched for the Angels for about 15 years. Robin Yount from the Brewers of that same time period. He wasn't at the movie premiere, but he was on that team. A lot of Packers guys like William Henderson, Jerry Kramer. We got to know pretty well uh, over time. And let's see. Now you're putting me on the spot for players.
It's
Um,
okay.
yeah, we've had a chance to talk to a lot of people, and just over the course of the years, we've had a chance to talk to a wide variety of different people coming on. We had the all-time leading scorer for Northwestern was on. He was a kicker. He lives in our area and works in our area now too.
Okay. And who are the players behind you on that picture?
The three of the greatest Packer quarterbacks to ever live. That's
Okay.
Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers. That photo was taken the night that they retired Brett Favre's number in Lambeau, and Bart Starr actually came up. He was very, very ill at that time.
Okay.
But to get that picture with those three, there are rumors that there exists one with autographs on it someplace floating around Lambeau Field.
Mm,
And that would be
mm,
incredible to see. But I've been very blessed with I've been blessed and I've been suffering as a Packer fan. Kyle has never known the Packers when they weren't the Packers that they are today.
yeah.
I had to live through the 70s and 80s where they didn't win a thing. And there
Um.
were some dark periods. But I also remember the Lombardi years and was
Yeah.
watching the games during that time. So
Hmm.
it was it's been up and down for me. He's had nothing but ups.
Yeah. The same thing with my Patriots. I was able to. I'm.
Yeah, whatever.
They. I'm. I said this on my stream the other day. That was the worst Super Bowl I ever watched. Like in 2019, even though the Patriots won that one, 2019, those are the two worst Super Bowls I've ever watched. It was brutal to watch.
This was not a fun one to
Yeah,
watch. I mean, Seattle was clearly the better team. Sorry
yeah,
about that, but it was they won it, and that's in the end that's all that counts. We're talking if you're talking about players that are forgotten. The one guy that's on the wall, and we've had discussions on the show many times about Bart Starr. He's the most underrated quarterback to ever play the game because people forget about him, forget what he did. He won 5 championships in 7 years. And honestly, he should be in the GOAT conversation with Tom Brady on every level. They both were incredibly intelligent, competitive, and they beat their opponents before they even went on the field. They were so prepared. And Bart Starr, if he were alive today, he would dominate the league with all the protection rules that are in place, the training that there is now. And you didn't have Deacon Jones trying to take your head off every time he had the chance to. Brady would have had any quarterback from today would have had a harder time going back in time just because of the rules that weren't there to protect them.
Yeah. Well, and another thing about football as well, I mean, I just hate the fact that they hype these games so much that it turns out into disappointment more times than none. You know, recently I've noticed, and I'm not just saying that because the referees. It's about the outcome of the game. Like I don't remember the last time I've seen like a classic game of well. Like I mean, yes, that Bears. I forgot what team they were playing, but you know that one when the Bears lost, that was the epic game. But you know, just the fact that they hyped up the Super Bowl so much, turns out like this. That is a lot of they certainly fund those tickets. Like $11,000 or so. That was the cheapest ticket. Come on, man. Like that was uncalled for. I mean,
and honestly, if they pass the rule that's been under discussion where they're going to take the NFC, AFC championship games and not have them as home game, but host everything on a neutral field, that'll further degrade the product and take away from the fans what the game really should be. So
I personally don't like that because like the fans should be able to celebrate them going to the Super Bowl to see their team actually do it. Like it's nothing. If they do that, it's going to be nothing but rich fans going into that game, particularly. So it's just like, you know, they should have it be at their home field to actually see the fans celebrate. You know, them going to the Super Bowl. Like they should really consider that.
Well, and it also takes away from the advantage. The Patriots, the Packers, the Bills, Steelers, we all play outdoors, and the weather is still a factor. If there was all of a sudden, if Mr. Kraft built a new stadium in New England, there'd be a dome, and they try to get the Super Bowl. You know, Lambeau's never going to be rebuilt, obviously.
Yeah.
But there have been talks around here since Curly Lambeau, who first suggested building a dome to cover the Packers Stadium. I don't see it ever happening there. But it'd be a shame if the Bears' new stadium, if that has a roof, put a retractable one on, and when there's football Sunday, they're playing outside.
Even the Bills are not going to have a roof, right?
No, they're not.
Yeah, so it's like, what's the point of making it a stadium if they're going to have? I don't know. Is in Buffalo that type of weather? I don't know why, but
hey, that's football weather.
Yeah, for Buffalo. So, have you worked at any other? Like, I know you talked about radio. I don't know if you talked sports on it, but have you worked on at any other sporting events in the past?
Well, I mean, obviously, I worked in minor league baseball for a while. Had caught just a thimbles full of times. I also worked in minor league basketball for a year back when the old CBA was in place. I actually worked on the Minnesota Twins PR firm for a while and put together a couple pieces for them. You know, and minor league basketball was fun, and all the stories you hear about the old CBA are absolutely true. It was the wild, wild west. And we gave away the RV that was used to make Spaceballs. And that was fun for me because I, being more of the sales marketing end of things, Like in the Quad Cities, we gave away a car. We brought in the San Diego chicken for the first time in forever. Clown Prince of Baseball came in. We had a lot of fun doing those types of things, and revitalized kind of the stadium and the baseball in that area. There was at one point I had made a deal to get the old Marlboro Man sign up in the put up on the outfield wall. And then all of a sudden the city found out about it, and the city was not real pleased at that time.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
So now you talked about radio. What radio stations were you on, and what did you what was the show all about?
Well, I worked for stations like WISN in Madison, or in Milwaukee, a short-lived station, WTFX in Madison. I owned a radio station in Rockford that's still on the air, Q98.5, that had a sister AM station, and we did some sports talk on that. It was right at the verge of when network radio was really, and network sports talk was just coming into being. And I tried to get ESPN and a couple other networks to allow us, but the stations in Rockford, because where the station was based was about 45 minutes away from Rockford, but it was still part of that metro. They had locked them up, so we couldn't get it. So we did some local stuff at that time.
Okay. And what was when you did radio, you had to be on the site, or was it remote? Because I know people do both nowadays. So
we were doing the same type of thing. We had offices, and it was actually in Freeport, Illinois, and we had one in Rockford. And so when we'd host a concert, like when Reba McEntire came in for an event, that would all be done in Rockford, because it was the largest market that we were close to, and the station's done very, very well.
Very good. So why should what do you recommend people should look for your podcast? Like, why should they listen? What particular type of segments they you suggest them to watch, and all that good stuff?
Well, people enjoy the show and want to watch the show because we did some research before we even put it on the air, is if there was a father and son that were out there actually talking sports. And at the time there wasn't. There was parents with little kids, but no two adult males talking about it. I mean, now you have Golick and Golick Jr. that are doing it. That we were around long before they put their product out. And it's generational debates a lot of the times, where he'll have his strong views about the sports of today. I'll bring back the real facts and point out that when I played and when I was watching, it was better. So it's that kind of banter back and forth. Ours is also a story of redemption, because I went through some hard times back in the 90s after some back surgery and whatever. And so, we had to rebuild our relationship and rebuild everything after that period of time. And this is a culmination of it. We went from being a real rocky road to being closer than any father and son could possibly be. And
very good.
There will be a book coming out about it sometime in the next year to 18 months.
Okay. And what people do you collaborate with? And is it like part of a network or something, or is it all on your own?
Not part. This has all been on our own. We aren't. We're in the process of getting a website built and being on Spotify, iHeart, all the various audio formats as well. But as of right now, we're on YouTube. We drop once a week, Wednesday morning, unless like it's been for the last few weeks, where whatever virus of the year has been going around.
The flu.
It's been bad.
I had the flu last month.
No, there you go. It's your fault I got it. But it's been a rough start to 2026 for me health-wise, but we'll be back on track. And Kyle too. Actually, it wasn't just me. He was down for a while too. But we'll be back on track beginning on Tuesday, and hopefully have some good comment. Our last show last year, I believe it was, we spoke with Jane Levy about her new book, Make Me the Commissioner. And that one is a great book, but two, it was a great interview because it was her ideas about how she could fix baseball. Kyle and I's very first show was about our rules for baseball and how to fix baseball. And there's some very simple things that baseball needs to do, especially now. And so you're looking at shutdown that they could take and bring some back national interest in the game rather than having it be so regional.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be interesting now with I forgot the name, but the new baseball operations leader at the Tony Clark.
Yeah, Tony Clark's gone.
Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting path now, going forward to see what that's going to look like. So
if I'm the players, there is no way on God's little green earth I'm going to talk about a salary cap until baseball owners put in a salary floor.
That's why I want.
It's got to start with that, and it's got to be a hard floor and a fairly financially secure floor. I'm talking like 150 million minimum. That these teams like the Pirates and the Rays in prior ownership in Miami need to spend their money. This is not just for you to make money and hurt the fans of whatever area you're in.
Yeah, those teams do not spend money at all, and it's a shame. Especially Pittsburgh. That is the greatest city, and for them to not spend money is just a disgrace.
It's ridiculous. At the same time, there's never been. Baseball is different than the NFL because the NFL, all their money is from national TV. Baseball, most of the money comes from local media, and until you can get a team like the Dodgers or the Yankees to step up and go, yes, we're going to share our revenue and we're all going to put it in one giant pool like the NFL does, you're never going to get the kind of parity that you're going to have. There's always been disparity. The Yankees always had more money than other teams, and the teams just had to spend the money smarter, which is fine. But the disparity now has gotten so large, the Dodgers can go and sign a Kyle Tucker and just like, oh, that's not even a big deal. That should have been a huge signing.
Yeah, but with all the other players they have is exactly what you said. So I don't know, but speaking of players, other than the Brewers, what other favorite players you have had on your show?
Oh, yeah. You're testing me. I mean, our dream, the idea for the show at one time when we first started was to talk to famous athletes and their dads. So the ultimate get for us would be obviously the Griffeys or the Mannings, and because I think people would find it very interesting. How do you, as a professional player, how were you raised? But then more importantly is, as a professional player with an equally talented son, how did you raise them? And so we've got a long list of players that we're hoping to get and we're working on. I can't think, I'd love to talk to the Watts because they literally, we live in the Watts hometown. So to talk to those three would be great at some point, and hopefully we'll get there. We're still, I'm working with the NFLPA on a couple things right now, players, alumni group to see what we can stretch out. So.
Okay, cool. So, what has been your favorite memories of the show since you started? Like, if you had to look back, what was some of your favorite memories?
I think every show has been incredible, and the best part of it is, no matter how bad a week is going, the hour I can spend with Kyle is gold, because it's just the two of us talking about the show, working out the production, and just being together. And that's been the best part of the show, without question. I don't care if we end up getting 5 million viewers. I want to trade it for the hour we get every week to do, well, the hour the show is on and the 8 to 10 hours a week we have to do to prepare for the show.
Yeah, that is the most important part, before you go live. Is there any accomplishments that you're proud of the most, like as for like subscribers or views or whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we have 213 some thousand subscribers is huge. I mean, getting that 100,000 subscriber plaque from YouTube was incredible. I never thought we'd be anywhere in that ballpark, but that is proudly displayed on every show. It's just shown on Kyle's side of the wall. Yeah, and the growth that both Kyle and I went through. I mean, it's we've gotten better at this. We both had a background, but we've gotten sharper. We've gotten better. I think the show is more entertaining every week that we do it. And someday baseball is going to listen, and they're going to adopt our rules for baseball, and we're going to fix the sport so it can get back to being the national pastime that it should be.
100%. You're also a public speaker. What do you mostly talk about on there, and where can people check that stuff out?
Well, you can just reach out to me either through LinkedIn or through the show. I've talked on a couple different things. I was a sales leader in regular world business in the wireless industry for many years. So I do sales training, sales speeches, that type of thing. I also have done, as I was kind of indicating before, I've done a lot of speeches on, opioids and the dangers of them and what you have to do to recover from that whole nightmare and taking that poison. So I've done a lot of things along those lines, and Kyle does it as well because he talks about what it's like to be the family member of somebody going through that.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything from your speeches, like a little preview you like to say right now, like on any advice you want to?
Yeah. One of the lines that you'll hear most of the time when I'm speaking is you've always got to remember the biggest lie is the one you tell yourself. And that goes whether it's business or personal or whatever. You've got to be able to look yourself in the mirror every day and know that you've got an honest person staring back at you. If you don't, if you cut corners, if you tell little white lies, guess what? You're never going to remember all the little white lies you told that got you to that place, and it needs to stop. So that's kind of been the centerpiece of a lot of my presentations. And some people get it. Some people, I know the people who are struggling and they haven't reached where they need to turn life around at that point.
How often do you do the speeches, by the way?
Well, there's been times I've been on the road for 4 days a week. There have been times I do it a couple times a month. Right now, I'm in that couple times a month.
All right.
It's whenever the people want me.
Yeah, for sure. Before we end it here, would you like to give us a tour of your studio you're in right now?
The messy studio. Well, there's, as you saw, there's my collection of baubles, some of them. There is way more. There's Frenchie the squirrel because we do go down squirrel paths quite often. There's his nasty Ohio State banner, and there's the YouTube, and he's obviously a Batman fan, as am I. So it's a small area that we built the studio in Kyle's house, and I'm amazed at the amount of compliments we get on it.
And that's like your basement, right? Or
it's a basement. It's a basement in his house, yeah. And it's fully insulated. It serves us very well. We've got a couple TVs. When we did the NFL draft on a national broadcast a couple years ago, and we were able to broadcast right from here.
I forgot to ask you this earlier. Do you prefer watching sports or listening to sports on the radio?
depends on the sport. I'd always rather listen to baseball. And I've been very spoiled, as I'm sure you have been out in Boston, but I had Bob Uecker for my entire
Yeah.
life. So you can't get any better. And I'll put him up against Vin Scully every day. He's different, but he's just as good. He knew the game inside and out. He was a real player. You know, he always made fun of his playing ability, but if you look it up, he was a really, really good catcher. I mean, he invented the knuckleball mitt that players are still using today. So,
Yeah, let me find. Oh, there it is. Oh, let me. So yeah,
oh,
there's
okay.
that's our radio. Well, he's semi-retired, but that's our radio legend, Joe Castiglione, who was with the Red Sox for over 40 years, who just semi-retired recently. Like he'll do a game here and there just to give the announcers a break, but he's still
That-
active here and there.
That's what you did towards the end. He'd do home games only, and then it was just whenever he was feeling up to it.
Yeah, and that's what Joe is doing right now, doing it whatever he feels like it. So that's his well, and I think that's how it should be, because like when you're a legend like that, you get those uh what is the right boundaries that you can give to your
Oh, absolutely.
bosses. When you get older, you have more of those options. Hey, I'm going to do this, and this, or more and more and more. Like, it's
They've
how
earned,
often you want.
they've earned it.
Yeah.
And that's been the problem. I mean, going back to your question, I mean, I knew Ray Scott and had dinner with him a couple of times. Everybody thought he worked for the Packers. He didn't until the very last few years of his life. He was a CBS broadcaster, but he was always doing the main game, which was always the Packers in the 60s. He was very minimalist in his calls, but he was a great announcer. And we had guys like Jim Irwin, and now we have Wayne Larrabee, who is a radio announcer for the Packers, is the best of the best.
Yeah. What speaking of TV, what's your thoughts about the situation with baseball, with teams losing their rights for broadcast?
Well, a lot of it, back to my point earlier, this FanDuel situation and and losing the ESPN contract. I know they kind of poo-pooed it and said, it's not a big deal. Well, when you lose $500 million, that's a big deal, no matter how you slice it. Baseball is going to have to work hard to make up that extra revenue. And I think the only way to do that is to put out a better product. And it's a good product right now. It's great. It's fun. I mean, this World Series was one of the best ever. And why? Because it had pitching involved again. I can't put into words how much I don't like the Craig Counsell form of baseball, where you're changing out pitchers all the time and you just have them throw. That's not what baseball is all about.
Like the Rays, how they.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to see these guys go 6. I mean, if you would have tried to take, and personal to me a little bit, but when Counsell pulled out Corbin Burns when he was in the 7th, going into the 8th inning of a no-hitter, and you pull him out of the game, if you would have tried that with Nolan Ryan would have punched you right in the mouth, as he should. You got to let immortality, opportunities come along once or twice in a lifetime.
I'd rather have pitchers like a Garrett Crochet, like a Paul Skeens, if you will, of going to the 8th to the 9th, or just to the 8th, and have a closer to it at the 9th. That's how it should be.
Well, and ask Kerry Wood if he would change his arm injury for that 20 strikeout game. I don't think he would.
Yeah.
So that was how Kyle got interested in baseball, quite honestly, because I was watching the game and it was in the first couple innings, and I said, "You got to come in and watch this. This is something you're never going to see again." And we sat there through every one of those strikeouts, and by the end of it, he was as big a Cubs fan and Kerry Wood fan as you've ever seen. So those moments are the ones that are meant to be shared.
What team were they playing that day?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
I thought it was the Brewers, but I could.
No, it was not. It was not the Brewers. It was not. I can't remember. Anything I'd say would be a guess.
Yeah. But while I looked that up, what is your favorite NFL national broadcast? These days.
These days, yeah, Greg Olson was outstanding when he was the number one for CBS. Tom Brady has gotten to be very good. I'm partial to Kevin Harlan because I know his dad, and he's, with his connection to the Packers. True story with the Harlan family. When Kyle was very young, he has a very rare orphan disease, and he had to have. It was the Astros. Okay, all right. But anyways, was going to face some very serious surgery, and he just mindset wasn't right for it. I called the Packers office to get an autograph sent down from him, William Henderson, because that was his favorite player. Bob Harlan answers his own phone. I didn't have to go through a secretary. And he had a picture sent, but more importantly, William Henderson, out of the blue, called Kyle the night before the surgery and talked to him for 90 minutes. By the end of that time, Kyle could have walked through fire. And we got to go back and attend William Henderson's Hall of Fame induction in Green Bay. They invited us up as guests, and they flew us in for a game later on that season when they were playing Tampa. So Packers do things right.
So what was your favorite TV network national broadcast?
I'd say Greg Olson is my favorite commentator. Kevin Harlan's probably my favorite straight
Fox,
broadcaster. Right? What's that? Yeah, he's Fox.
Okay, yeah. I do like personally lately Tom Brady and Kevin how do you pronounce his last name again? Kevin I forgot.
I struggle with it every time. Yeah. Brady has gotten much better. I think Tony Romo's taken a step back. I mean, I'll also go with Al Michaels just because you can't do better than Al Michaels or Mike Tirico because they are so solid.
Burhart, that's his last name. But the thing about Amazon Prime, though, their games has been horrible as well. Like, it's just. I
think it's tough to do a Thursday night game. I mean, it's just to do that, and there's going to happen more and more because they're going to have 18 games before too terribly long, and hopefully that'll lead to 2 buys, which I think is needed at that point.
Do you think Al Michaels is still doing good? Because a lot of people say that his time is done. Like what happened to Bob Costas? Like
he's
at the end of his
Bob Costas is coming back on to host the pregame for NBC and baseball.
Yeah.
Al Michaels, I'll listen to him until whenever. Okay. I mean, the guy who coined the phrase, "Do you believe in miracles?" He's one of the best announcers that's ever walked the face of the planet. And so, I'll listen to him anytime. I don't think he hasn't lost enough to make the games unentertaining. If you want to poke holes in him, go ahead. He's 80 years old or whatever he is. He's still an icon. Would you want Vin Scully to hang it up when he was in his 80s? I don't think so.
Yeah. It's just that, I don't really know why people say, oh, Al Michaels is past his time. Oh, for Bob Costas, I did kind of see that at the end of his, play-by-play career, but at least for the postseason. But with Al Michaels, I don't know why people think, oh, he should be retired.
Well, here, I'll give you one to listen to if you ever get the chance. It's a local guy to me, but he's one of the best pure announcers you will ever hear. He's a guy named Matt LePay. Okay. He's the Vikings tried to get him hard at one point, but he stayed with the University of Wisconsin. He's filled in for Wayne Larrabee on occasion when needed to on Packer games, but simply one of the best announcers. Badger football. He does Badger basketball as well. His name is Matt LePay. One of the best announcers you'll ever hear.
Okay.
So there's my
I'll
one
look into that.
suggestion for people that are out and about.
Yeah, I'll look into that. Um, so for my final question here, what else is coming up on your YouTube channel other than the podcast, and where else can they find you on social media?
Well, we're going to occasionally we do remotes. Like last year in December, Kyle actually worked out with a gentleman named Chris Rubio, who is the best long snapping coach in America. A lot of his guys have been in the NFL and Division One. So if they were going to learn anything about long snapping, Chris is where you go. So he actually went down and worked out with those kids, which was fun to watch. As a 35-year-old trying to compete with 17 and 18-year-olds. Did my heart good to watch that. And he did great, by the way. This year, we're going to go back to the Quad Cities, where I worked for at the time, it was Quad City Angels. But we're going to interview the new owner down there. And my nephew is going to hopefully come up from Memphis, and we're going to go back and talk about my time there and try to give Kyle a real feel of what I did when I was in the minor leagues. I lost you.
All right, that is going to wrap things up here for this next episode of the 3000 Hangouts. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will be back here tomorrow night for the next episode, which will be a game show stream edition of the 3000 Hangouts here for this week. So I am looking forward to that. It's been a long time since we've done this, so we have to see who wins a lot of money here for this week on Thursday. So, with that being said, take care to all of you. Please stay safe. Please stay warm with all the snow going on, and we'll go right back at it tomorrow night for the next episode of the 3000 Hangout. So, take care. Good night and goodbye for now. See ya, everybody.